How's everybody out here in my makeshift? What do you want to call this? My little makeshift garage studio here, and yeah, we are with here live on YouTube. Thank you so much, everybody. Hit that like button, that notification button. Subscribe if you like. That would be awesome. But yeah, welcome to the Lamar Blog Garage Studio. Thank you so much. My name is Tony Aiello, and so we're going to be with you for about 15 minutes or so. Maybe Polly's Pies is, and I am getting some issues here. So we're hanging here. I see some people joining us, but I'm having some connectivity issues. Is this gonna kind of a new thing here on YouTube? I think last time I went live on Facebook. But yeah, we're here in the Lamar Blog Complex Garage Studio, and I'm waiting. I'm getting a message here from on my computer and from YouTube about an unstable connection. So if I can get a thumbs up, or from if are we coming across okay? I believe we are. Okay, I got a couple of likes there. So yeah, hit that like button if you can. Also hit that notification button. Next time we go live, you'll be notified. And you're welcome to subscribe. It's free. You'll be able to see whenever the Lamrata blog does videos here on Lamrata Blog TV. Anyways, big news, getting back to Polly's Pies. I don't want to waste too much of your time here on a beautiful Saturday night here in La Mirada. So let's get right to it. So January, I've had a few birdies come at me in the last few days, indicating that Polly's Pies might be closing. And the fact of the matter is that it is going to be closing. I can confirm that. I went by there earlier today, talked to the manager, or the lady that was at the counter. She looked like she was in charge, and she told me that yes, Polly's is closing on January 17th, so that's going to be the last day. And I really didn't want to ask her why. I've heard of a lot of different things on the internet over the last week or so. They started closing at 3 o'clock a while back, but I didn't want to really ask her why. It didn't seem like a really good time, and she was, obviously not pleased about it. I'm not pleased about it. Nobody's pleased about it, because officially now La Mirada is without. And now, if anybody wants to correct me, something I say that's wrong regarding what's open, what's not in La Mirada, what used to be open, what's not, any kind of La Mirada history. I'm not an expert. Most of it is just off the top of my head. But I believe that leaves us completely without for the first time since I can remember. I'm trying to think back here, completely without any, full service, full menu, traditional coffee shop diner. The Carriage left us a while back. We even had Coco's for a while. We had Denny's back in the day, right there along the freeway. And there's some development going on there, some new development coming there in that construction zone. So maybe we might see some action. Trying to keep a positive look on things. Hopefully, we can some new businesses coming down the road. But I tell you, man, it's really sad that it's nothing new, really, having to go outside of La Mirada to eat. But it's really sad that we just don't have like a local little, like I said, coffee. I know coffee shop sounds like old school and old fashioned and showing my age, but something similar to something like Black Bear Diner. That's like, something like a Norms. Norms is a good modern day example. So it's just, I can see, we've always had the issue of for the larger restaurants having to go out. It never used to be the case, by the way. We used to have a lot of restaurants, a lot of choices here in La Mirada. But it's, for the larger change and the bigger restaurants, and not that there's not any good places to eat in La Mirada, there is. We've had to always kind of like drive to La Habra or Buena Park or Cerritos or Whittier or Norwalk, for God's sake. All of them, all the cities around us. But we always had a coffee shop. We always had the Carriage. We always had Coco's. We always had Denny's. We always had Polly's Pies. How long has Polly's Pies been there? 10 years. On Beach and Rosecrans. If no one knows what I'm talking about, it's on Beach and Rosecrans, the northeast corner, which I believe might be the no, across the street is yeah, those are all La Mirada corners, I believe. I think that shopping center is the only one that's actually La Mirada. So all those uh, establishments in that center, including remember Mario's Pizza back in the day. If you go a little north all the way up on Beach, those are all La Mirada shops. Um, so when and Polly's Pies is very underrated. And I know a lot of people when they say Polly's Pies, what do you mean? Do I have can somebody send me okay, I'm just making sure want to make sure the chat's on in case anybody has a question or if we're able to chat. Can someone send me an emoji or something? Um, so yeah, that's the breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So if you want to head on over to Polly's before January 17th, you might want to do that. They will be closing their doors. I don't know why they're closing. A lot of us saw the writing on the wall. I just know that we no longer have a restaurant to go to within the city limits. It's kind of a bummer. And anybody watching right now, send me a thumbs up. Send me a happy face. Send me a you don't know what you're talking about. You suck or anything. So I want to make sure everybody is able to chat. So, okay. Roland, thank you. You know what, Roland? Thank you. See, because I forget stuff. And yes, IHOP is still there. And thank you, Pete. Thank you. IHOP is still there. And yes, I did forget about IHOP, although I don't know why. And by the way, that is the sixth IHOP ever built in the International House of Pancakes chain. If you look at the history, that was the sixth one they ever built. But it's so small inside, and you know what? I guess they are open for dinner, and they do have other food besides pancakes. So you know what? Good call, Roland. I like that. I kind of blew it on that one. Forgot about IHOP, although I prefer something a little more spacious and with a traditional coffee bar. So basically that's it, folks. Just wanted to check in here on the Saturday night here on our La Mirada blog YouTube channel, La Mirada blog TV, and just to break the news that Polly's Pies, and I used to people think I'm crazy, but and because Polly's had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I don't know if anyone knows this. And Polly's I thought was very underrated. Just I wish more people in La Mirada knew that we. Yeah, exactly, Roland. I know what you're saying about IHOP. I just wish more people knew about it. But they had some really good lunch and dinner, and not to mention Polly's Pies, and not to mention they had a bakery there, and they made all their bread there and their cookies. And you walk in and they had that little shop. But they had some really their fish and chips at Polly's Pies is really good. So really fun. It's really hard to find a good place to eat in La Mirada these days. Of course, that's nothing new, folks. La Mirada is only 62 years old. And if you read the history books, La Mirada has had an issue with retaining, just always an issue of drawing places where people can eat and shop, generally speaking. It goes way back to the 60s. And then the whole La Mirada Mall kind of we really don't have time to talk about it right now. But, it's a lot of people get confused. It's not really the city's responsibility to attract restaurants, because a lot of people you've seen over the years and years, I've heard this story years. Why doesn't the city get that? Well, it's all private property. Okay, so and restaurants get to choose when they go into a city and where they want to do business. Cities don't get to pick. Now there can be incentives, and you've seen other cities get aggressive. I don't want to go into it too much, but right now anyway. But how can I put this? Um, you know, there's how can I put it? Lombarda does three basic functions very well as a government. The, like the three traditional basic functions: um, making sure our roads are paved, keeping us safe, and keep your finances in order. Those three things they do really good, really good. Okay, after that, you're that's everything else is gravy. I'm sorry to say. That's I mean, it's good and it's bad. I mean, there's just two sides to everything. Just trying to tell you how it is. So over the years, um, it it's not really a top priority to create places for adults to have fun. Okay, a lot of people, oh, fun's not a lot. Well, and we've had plenty of opportunities in here in La Mirada to do it over the years. And again, I don't really want to get into it too much right now, but I think we kind of blew it in the 90s when we had an opportunity to create the whole Gateway Center into a mini um, city walk. When we already had the theater, the Holiday Inn, we had the Edwards Gateway Theater, we had Northwoods Inn that's still there, we had In and Out, and we had Elephant Bar, and it was just a really good opportunity. But La Mirada is a very, they it's not top priority for city officials to get aggressive in that way when it comes to those kind of venues, and this goes way back. But I'll give you a couple of examples off the top of my head. You might remember Jimmy's Rendezvous or in La Fiesta. Um, um, there was one point when it looked like one or two of them, or maybe both, but we're going to started turning into more of a nightclub atmosphere. And then the Jimmy's Rendezvous at one point started to have male strippers. If anyone remembers, this was his late 80s. Um, and if you read back on what it says, what the word's saying is La Mirada stopped. They didn't want, you know, quote, a nightclub in town. So anything anything like that always just gets you know, kind of shoved under the rug. And another example is maybe 10 years ago, maybe longer now, the old Vendom Liquor building, which is now going to turn into a veterinarian. Really nice. They've been taken forever. What is it? 3 years now. They've been remodeling it. It's going to be a veterinarian place. It's animal place, which is really good. And I think that building may still be owned by Vendom. But if you remember, there was a restaurant there for a while. It was Middle Eastern, it might have been Peruvian. No, I got it wrong. But and they were doing very well. And in that ethnicity, in that traditionally, they had a lot of activity and a good time and partying on Monday nights. And across the street on Rosecrans, the neighbors, I remember this at the city council meeting, the neighbors, or one, two, who knows how many, began to complain about not the noise on Monday nights, and pretty much just made it very difficult for them to kind of remain open, because I knew the owners, worked with my wife, so at Knott's Berry Farm, so back then. And kind of told me the whole story, which I never told anybody else, but he told me what actually really happened. And I'll tell you also something else. I heard Steve Jones many times at city council meetings say, if he had it his way, there would be no bars anywhere in La Mirada. He said that publicly quite a few times. So, and it's very hard to get a liquor license in La Mirada. Beer and wine, fine, and the ones that do have the liquor licenses are subjected to yearly reviews. Did they have any incidents there? So fun is not a priority. Okay. The Sizzler's been closed for a while. I heard rumors that Cabo Taco, Kenny over at Cabo Taco, was perhaps moving in over there. But you know what? COVID changed a lot of things. And you know what? We're gonna keep up. We're gonna keep our hopes up, folks, because there's some new development coming along the freeway where they're doing the construction. When all that construction is done, there's a big company just bought a big area over there, and there's going to be some retail development. So I don't really think the La Mirada residents though are going to have a say in what goes in there. But we're hoping, keeping our fingers crossed, that it's something really good, really cool. There's still some opportunities, I believe, at the Gateway Center. Um, but we'll see how it goes. But again, it's just getting, as the months and the years go by, is it getting more difficult and to to you know dine in La Mirada. What's the answer to that, or is there an answer, or should there be an answer? You know, um, you might say, well, where don't they need? Wouldn't the city of La Mirada encourage larger chain restaurants, larger department stores, to come in because we need you know, the property taxes, sales taxes, all the other taxes and generated? Well, yeah, but actually, and I'm no expert, by the way. Okay, so don't, if I'm wrong, say, Tony, you're full of shit. Okay, but from what I understand, really, what cities get as far as the tax from the restaurants is significant, of course, but um, the city of La Mirada, um, the machine that makes the city of La Mirada run is the industrial area, south of the railroad tracks, east of Valley View, north of the 5 freeway. That whole industrial area, that is where La Mirada receives most of its revenue in the form of fees, taxes, like I said, all that stuff that's required. Um, that is what makes La Mirada run. That's where they get a lot of their money. And a third of their money goes just to public safety. So right off the top, third of I believe it's like 30% or so goes right to the sheriff's department or whoever they're contracting with at the time. So that's where the money comes from. And that's actually why, one of the reasons why, that's what led to La Mirada becoming a city and incorporating in 1960, because Santa Fe Springs in 1954 was going to incorporate, because that's how cities, they learned incorporation was the answer to controlling their own destiny. And Santa Fe Springs was incorporating, and they wanted all that land where the La Mirada Industrial, it used to be called the Central Manufacturing District, and which became part of La Mirada. But Santa Fe Springs tried to go in there. Am I boring you all? Tried to go in there and grab that swath of land, which led to the beginning of the movement for La Mirada to incorporate it as its own city. That's why you got a lot of weird boundaries when it comes to Santa Fe Springs. That's why it goes all the way down to where it used to be called the La Mirada Swap Meet, but that was never really La Mirada. That was Santa Fe Springs. And then Santa Fe Springs goes all the way up to Telegraph. That's why you have all these weird boundaries with Santa Fe, because they were doing a major land grab in the late 50s. And so anyways, that's where La Mirada gets all its money. So let's keep our fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Tony Aiello here on La Mirada Blog TV. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's hope there's some good news about a new restaurant coming to town. Send me your news, your news or ideas, or something you hear about a restaurant coming to town. That would be great. news@lamiradablog.com. And let's keep our fingers crossed. Yeah. Thank you guys for commenting. Thank you. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for joining me on this Saturday night. I'll keep these videos, I promise, shorter in the future and a little more interesting in the future and a little more engaging in the future, but we're off to a good start. Until next time, catch you next time right here on the La Mirada Blog.